into this mythology. Paul's a connoisseur. Sarah has an interest, but it's all Greek to her. From Cronus's kids' weird childhood to what's going down in Hades' hood. These fables are bizarre but good. It's myth understood.
A wild were-Sarah has wandered into the podcast studio today. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Myth Understood with me, with me, Sarah Oliver.
We've become one.
And her,
and me, Paul Bianca.
And me, Paul Bianca. Wow. Great start already.
We have a guest.
Yeah, we have a guest today. She is a writer. She is an actress. She is an improviser. And she hosts a incredible podcast called Greetings from Depression. It's Paige Fockler.
Hi. I'm waving. Nobody can see that,
That's
though.
good for podcast.
Yeah.
I thought so.
So tell us about Greetings from Depression.
Okay. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Greetings from Depression is just a podcast where we just literally have a conversation about depression. There's no real form, no real criteria other than you having dealt with depression in some shape or form.
Me personally.
Yeah.
It's about Paul.
It's just about Paul Bianchi.
That's the way he likes it.
So we've done 12 episodes about Paul.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about maybe moving on, but
No, I won't have it.
No, okay. Well, I'll start a new one.
Okay.
How's that?
Sounds
Wow.
good.
That's a great concept.
Thank you.
I have a lot to say about depression.
Yeah, and I really like your art. It looks like a postcard that you would receive in the mail, and you'd say, "Oh, look, where's Paige been? Oh, she's greeting me from depression."
Yeah, that's exactly what the inspiration was.
Yeah.
And thank you. A friend of mine, Rio Brown, did it.
Oh.
Used to work with.
And you two little cutie pies are on a improv team together.
We
We
sure are. Yeah,
are.
it's how many years has it been now? It's
I
been
think 3.5.
Yeah, it's 40 years. Yeah, we're on a team called Shortcake together, and we were actually performing in the San Diego Improv Festival.
Because we got some San Diego people.
Yeah.
Do we?
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we'll be there on February.
Saturday, February 9th at 7 o'clock at Finest City.
Where can they find tickets?
FinestCityImprov.com, I believe.
Oh.
Wow.
And regularly you guys perform at Second City in LA. So anybody want to come out and find them there?
I don't know when we perform again because regularly is a very loose term at Second City, but we it's once a month. Ooh. We don't know. Well, we talk about Greek mythology on this podcast. Paige, do you have any?
Which often leads to depression.
Yeah, it's part of it.
It's very sad.
But Paige, do you have any warm, fuzzy memories of learning about Greek mythology in your past?
I think so. I was in 7th grade and I was in honors. We had English and some other thing that was very similar to English. I know that sounds vague and weird.
German.
I feel really dumb
Humanities?
that I can't. No, it wasn't called that, but it was like we did things like we went over Greek mythology and theater stuff, but it wasn't a theater class. It was like almost like a literature class.
Cool.
I
Oh,
guess
nice.
is the best way I can describe that. But I remember learning about that, and I had to do a project with someone else that was in my class that was not fond of me. And
Oh,
I
no.
remember-
7th grade drama?
I know. She was a serious kid. I was not a serious kid, but our
worlds
moms
collide.
were friends.
Oh, God.
And I think she was just like, why is this girl in my house doing a project and we're using Barbie dolls? And I think we're doing Persephone.
Wow.
But that's all I don't remember much.
Oh yeah, Persephone with Barbies. Can happen.
They need to release that Barbie.
You know what?
It would have spring and
Yeah.
hell clothes.
Yeah, spring,
like
spring
it'd be a
and
good
hell
one.
clothes. And you say you don't remember anything,
I don't know nothing.
but yeah, and she'd have a pomegranate that you could like have a piece that could come off of, maybe.
Did she eat those?
Yeah, she ate the pomegranate. That's how she got stuck in hell.
See, I told you I'm stupid.
Well, in that
I
class,
don't think you're stupid. I don't know that either. So
in that class that you don't remember the name of, it was you probably investigated some work by Euripides, maybe Aristophanes. And today we're talking about Aristophanes.
oh,
Well, and not Aristophanes the person, but a specific story that Aristophanes told. It was the story of Lysistrata.
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 Lysistrata was first performed as a play in 411 BC. The central story of Lysistrata is a comedy with a plot that resonates to this day as a device that is common in like shitty romantic comedies.
Oh, then I'll know this.
It was also adapted in 2015 by Spike Lee with his movie Chirac, which transposed the events of the play into modern-day inner-city Chicago.
Wow.
So I feel like that's a movie that we should watch after this.
That sounds cool.
The play opens with an Athenian woman, Lysistrata, pacing back and forth in front of the Acropolis in
Until
Athens.
she tumbles down a flight of stairs.
Until she
it's a rom-com.
Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, she's so quirky. She has called an important meeting for all the women of both Athens and Sparta
Girls, brunch.
for a proposal regarding the ensuing Peloponnesian War. The war is a city-state war between the democratic Athenians and the oligarchic Spartans.
We're going to need more mimosas.
And it lasted for around 30 years. Women are just like, we're over this war. We're done with it. And Lysistrata thinks that I know just how to end it, and I just need all the women from Athens and Sparta to arrive.
We just got to tell them to stop.
And first she has to wait for them all to arrive, which, you know, it's possible. They were like, it's 411 BC. How many women are there really on the planet at that point? So there's like 5.
Yeah.
So Lysistrata impatiently waits for the women of Athens and Sparta to meet her and discuss the war. And during this opening monologue, she fumes that she's like, oh, why aren't they here? No one's showing up. Like, I bet if I called an orgy, and I'm not speaking in hyperbole there, this is in the play. If I called an orgy, they would all be here.
I know my horny friends.
If I was like, Dionysus, we are having a festival in your honor. All of us are gonna fuck. And like all these women would show up with tambourines and just be like, yeah, we're ready. So right when she is so angry about that, who shows up? I mean, it's romantic comedy rules. It's the sassy best friend.
yes.
Her sassy best friend, Cleonike, shows up. She's older, but not quite old enough to be considered a matron. And case in point for her being the sassy best friend, here is actual piece of dialogue from this play transposed. Choose who's Lysistrata and Cleonike.
You want to be Lysistrata?
Sure.
All right.
There are a lot of things about us women that saddens me, considering how men see us as rascals.
As indeed we are.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't hear my finger snap.
I did. I heard it.
I felt it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Lysistrata tells Cleonike that she is distraught that the women will not come and talk about war, and she is ashamed to be a woman because of it. Lysistrata can't understand why the women will put up with their husband's insults and deceit. Cleonike assures Lysistrata that the women will come, but for the moment they are occupied with helping their husbands, you know, as good Athenian and Spartan wives should do. And this should be noted that this is written by Aristophanes, a man, acted entirely by men for a entirely male audience. So, you know, there are
Solid plan.
Yeah. And that's what's interesting about this play, because people see it as, on one hand, a misogynistic play, but there are also things that Lysistrata says throughout the story that have actual merit. That like, you're like, oh, if I didn't think about the context of this play, the things that she says, you're like, yeah, you're right. You're right, Lysistrata. So we'll see if we get to that. Lysistrata begins to outline to Cleonike her plan to save Greece. Lysistrata claims that all hope of ending the war lies with women, and Cleonike is like, what? we can't do anything, Lysistrata. What are you talking about? So that's sort of an interesting sassy best friend.
Yeah.
Cleonike informs Lysistrata that glamour is the only talent women possess, and there is nothing for a woman to do besides to sit and look beautiful and wait for her husband wearing her best negligee and her slippers.
Okay.
Lysistrata believes that women's ability to attract and allure men to look beautiful, sexy, and well-kept is exactly the key that will end this war. So
Ooh.
she's like, yeah, you might think that that's the thing, but
A Trojan horse.
Oh, well done. The shirt's in the work now. As Cleonike begins to get excited about Lysistrata's ideas, a group of winter a gloop
A gloop of winter.
a gloop of winter enter. God damn it. A group of women enter from stage right. Lysistrata tells Cleonike that these are women from the outskirts of town. So she's like, oh, here come these guys. The group is led by Myrene, who's a young matron. Hello, Myrene.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
You look beautiful. You're the young, lovely woman who's the seductress in our story.
Oh.
Ooh.
Wow. That never happens.
Another group of women also joins the group, led by Lampito, who's a burly Spartan woman.
Hey!
Lampito is joined by two women, Ismenia, a pretty Boeotian girl, and a Corinthian lady with a big old booty.
Does it say that?
Not like that in the play, but she has a gut. She does have a big butt. Yeah.
Okay.
Lysistrata and the other women look over and dissect the physical characteristics of Lampito, Ismenia, and the large Corinthian, and try to figure out like what parts of them will attract a man best. Lampito,
Oh my God, this is something that beauty magazines do now.
Yeah.
Lampito remarks that she feels like a heifer come fair time during this because of the way that they're looking at her body.
Mm-hmm.
And right as she says that, Cleonike just reaches over and grabs her breasts. And it's like,
Honk.
yeah. And it's like, these are the best part of her body. And then
Are they gonna fucking Frankenstein
Yeah,
this
that's what I was
girl?
just thinking.
and then
Uh-oh.
they pull up Ismenia's dress and they're like, oh, look at her well-groomed pubic area.
Okay.
And then Lysistrata points to the exceptionally large derriere of the Corinthian, in case you hadn't seen it. And again, these are men dressed up like women, so they've got like a big padded butt, probably on the Corinthian lady.
They're gonna create a super Kardashian.
The women finally ask Lysistrata what has brought them there after all that. Like, oh, thank you for shaming our bodies. What's going on? And Lysistrata first asks, well, would you like to have your husband safely restored to them from the war? Anyone?
Yeah, I guess.
Yes, of course.
That's my whole identity. I'm just a wife.
Uh-huh.
So yeah. Suppose.
Cleonike immediately tells Lysistrata that she would like to have her husband home, for apparently he's been gone for 5 months. And Myrene agree that they've missed their husbands. Myrene goes on to say, I miss my husband so much, and since the Milesians have revolted, I haven't been able to even buy a masturbation tool from the open market. I'm desperate for sex.
I love this play.
A
masturbation tool.
Yeah,
That's so great. Is that the term she used?
it's from ancient Greek, so it gets
Translated
Yeah,
into oblivion.
all right.
yeah. I don't know what they say in the. What do you think that they say in the play?
A giant life-size dildo.
A giant life-size dildo.
Mhm.
Okay, well, tool.
A fallacy tool. Phallic.
With
Is that
such a phallic.
Okay.
A phallic fallacy. With such apparent enthusiasm, Lysistrata asks if she can have them have the support of the women to end the war. Lampito, Myrene, and Cleonike all brag of the lengths that they would go just to end the fighting. Lampito, what would you do to end the fighting of the war?
Oh my God. I'm the sassy best friend?
No, you're the surly Spartan woman.
Oh, me! Well, you know what I'd do? I'd go in there and I'd fight him myself. I'd get an axe and I'd just chop all our heads off, all the men, even your husbands.
Wow. Marini, what would you do?
Oh, I feel like I would offer my sex and my mouth and my other holes.
Clee Nike, sassy best friend, what would you do?
Oh, me? I'd go in there and I'd say, hey, you guys better knock it off.
Lysistrata says, you know how we're going to stop the war? We're going to deny all the men of sex.
What?
And the three women refuse and cry out, on with the war, on with the war.
This is pretty progressive.
They tell Lysistrata they would be willing to do anything, but give up sex to end the war, even walk through fire.
I would rather have all my fucking skin melted off and my hair singed than go one more day without a dick in every hole.
Lysistrata's like, walking through fire wasn't even on the table. Like, that would do nothing to end this war. She's outraged at her peers and tells the women that you know what? You guys are the stuff. You don't know it yet, but you are the stuff that heroic songs about women are sung. Like, you could be those great heroes. Atalanta. There are so many famous Greek female heroes that you could be among the ranks of. That women are playing. That you guys are playing out your stereotypical sex-driven roles. And we can just put a little footnote in that there too. Is that early on when we began this podcast, I was talking about like how the Athenian men really. They felt like studying philosophy and being chaste and not sort of pre-Victorian. This idea of like, oh, sex is not important. Sex is very primal. It's not something the idealized man should be interested in. And thus, that idea of like sexual drive in nature, a lot of that was put on to the personification of women at this time. Like, oh, it's like, no, we don't want sex. It's the women who make us want sex. Yeah.
Nasty vixens.
After more rousing, the women finally agree to Lysistrata's plan. Lysistrata explains that all the women should powder and primp and make themselves look as attractive as possible so that all the men will want them desperately. She says women will refuse the sex with the men until a treaty between Athens and Sparta has been signed. Lysistrata also tells them that the Acropolis, including the Temple of Athena, will be seized by the women later that day to prevent the Athenians from using money from the treasury for war, which actually will probably stop the war sooner than, like, if you think about it. Because, you know, there's prostitutes. Like, you think that the men would be like, oh, my wife is denying me sex. Like, this plan isn't exactly airtight, but for the sake of the
But their vaginas are.
Hey,
there it is. This is where things get very they get very modern, where like the women then Lysistrata calls a policewoman over and tells her to turn over her shield so the women can sacrifice a sheep and swear an oath that they will follow Lysistrata's directions.
That's very modern.
But instead they say, oh, we're not going to make an oath on the shield. Instead, we're all going to just get a big bottle of red wine and we're just going to share it between all of us.
There's a policewoman?
Yeah.
Wow. Cool.
And so the Lysistrata brings over an enormous jug of Thracian wine, and as if it were an animal for sacrifice, the women remark that the color of the wine is a beautiful shade of blood. Lysistrata prays over the wine and then elects sassy friend Cleonike to take the oath on behalf of the rest of the women. Lysistrata recites an oath of chastity, and each line is repeated by Cleonike. And after the oath is recited, all the women get love drunk off that wine.
So, by love drunk, they had an orgy, which is the females?
They just talk about how much they love the...
Oh, you're so pretty.
Yeah, you're
okay.
great. Yeah.
You can do anything you want. Anything.
Except for have sex.
Don't have sex.
Don't have sex with your husband. No,
Don't.
never. As the women pass the cup, loud sounds are heard from offstage. Lysistrata informs that the women...
Clang, 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 clang.
Clang, 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 clang. That the sounds they hear are the women taking the Acropolis, and announces that the citadel of Athena is theirs. Lysistrata and Cleonike hurry off to help the women at the Acropolis.
How do they take it? They have weapons?
They, all the men are at war, so they just sort of take
They
it.
just walk there. So
Yeah.
they've all gathered there. Okay.
Yeah.
It's ours.
So after this happens, the commissioner of public safety enters with a squad of police.
This is mind blowing to me. I didn't know there was Greek police.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's I forget what they're called, but like, so you know how like police officers are often shown with like swinging their clubs.
Yes, this is how I'm imagining them.
Yeah. Well, they don't have clubs. They have bows and arrow.
What?
And rather than clubbing someone, police brutality was shooting an arrow into someone's calf and slowing them.
Oh.
I mean, I suppose it makes sense, but it seems really silly.
Yeah.
I don't know why I supposed that they all self-governed them.
Yeah, I thought it was like there's the soldiers, so don't get stabbed by a soldier.
No. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and so the commissioner of public safety is there, and he's like a doddering fellow, and he's heard of the insurrection at the Acropolis, and he does not know yet of the swear against sex. I mean, how could he? The commissioner has come to the Acropolis to withdraw funds to equip Athens' naval fleet, and the commissioner, realizing that the Acropolis has been taken by women, concludes women must be involved in some sort of orgy, some sort of combustion of lust. That's the only reason they would all be gathered there at the Acropolis.
When more than two girls go into the ladies' room,
Sex.
it's orgy.
And he takes the opportunity to rant about women and the imminent moral chaos that they, by nature, create.
Yeah.
The commissioner criticizes modern society and men who have allowed women to have power. So there's his little...
So he's as curmudgeon-y as I'm imagining him.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Bald head, big white mustache.
Big white mustache. As the commissioner and his police attempt to pry open the gates of the Acropolis, Lysistrata just opens the side door and is like, oh, what do you guys want? The commissioner orders 4 policemen to arrest Lysistrata and the women, but the men are overpowered by the women's threats, and the women
overpowered. I'm not gonna. No one's gonna have sex with you.
Sorta, yeah. But also they wield household items as weapons, like a chamber pot and like a curling iron, not a curling iron, but
A whisk.
A flattener.
A pair of tweezers, a lamp. And finally, an entire horde of women brandishing pots and other household articles appear, and the policemen run, and they're like, ooh, zoinks, let's get out of here.
All we have are arrows.
all we have are
these
bows.
deadly weapons.
And so, which leaves the commissioner bumbling left to argue with Lysistrata. She informs the commissioner that she intends to keep the money in the treasury until Athens and Sparta declare peace. The women will budget the money for the city just as the women budget their household accounts. It'll be no different. Lysistrata also tells the commissioner that she will save Greece from itself. The women of Athens have tolerated and endured too many stupid actions of men and have decided that we'll witness no more. The commissioner is increasingly offended and threatened by Lysistrata's words. Sort of like, yeah, you are bald. You are stupid. You will get a tweezer to the eyebrow.
As you say.
The commissioner then tells Lysistrata that he cannot listen to a woman who wears a veil. It's an obvious sign of a woman's inferiority.
Yeah.
And
well, that's not even a veiled insult, is it?
It isn't. So Lysistrata defiantly removes her veil and tells the commissioner to shut the fuck up. She takes her veil and puts it around the commissioner's head, and then Cleonike and Marini enter and dress the commissioner up as a woman.
Okay, so I got to see Spike Lee's version of this.
Lysistrata shouts to the Greek chorus of old women, "Ye women must wive ye wara," which
Someone who wasn't drunk announced something to us.
well, it's a rewriting of a famous line from Homer's text, which originally meant "What Athens needs is a man," but she shouts out, "What Athens needs is a woman."
Ooh. Okay. This is just a Taylor Swift music video so far.
It really. And now they got bad blood. Lysistrata then tells the commissioner that she does this like weaving metaphor here, that Greece is a nasty snarl, and the women will be responsible for cleaning, scooching, plucking, combing, and finally spinning the fibers into a bobbin of yarn to clothe the entire city of Athens, free of bias or stitch.
That'll teach a man.
The commissioner does not understand Lysistrata's weaving metaphor.
Of course not.
And exclaims, "This is proof that you're not born to have any part of war," is that your weaving metaphor.
He's got her there.
The comment infuriates Lysistrata, who tells the commissioner that she has to bear double the quota of war that she has given her son and her husband to the effort, that she is not, she carries a burden in the war as well.
Yeah, see, there you go. Just speak straight.
Yeah, no. Well, then she winds a bobbin of thread around the commissioner because she had her metaphor prepared. She brought her bobbin. She's like,
just being a fucking Kevin McAllister at this point.
Kevin, and she drops her brother's tarantula on his face.
Exactly.
Then Cleonike empties her chamber pot over him.
Oh, wow. That was not a coordinated move. She looked up at her and was like, that's escalated to a new place.
And then Marini breaks her lamp over the commissioner's head and knocks him out.
Probably for mercy. He's got shit and piss all over his head.
A chorus of old women appear, and they advance toward the audience and tell them that they are not ashamed to be women, that women's leadership would be better than the present state of Greece.
I'm following this narrative. This is great.
Well, and that's what I was like saying earlier, is that like this was written by a man, played by men for a male audience, and in modern acting of this play, that line can be delivered with the utmost seriousness, and people understand it, and they say like, yes, we get this. But I feel like in the time that this play was performed, that line was maybe delivered to laughter.
Yeah, we're going to see what happens at this into the second act and into the third. We're going to see how this turns.
Yeah. Lysistrata comes out of the Acropolis very distraught. She complains that the women are escaping from the temple to go have sex with her husbands.
Wow.
At this moment, one of the women's attempts to escape from the Acropolis across the stage. And she's like, "You, where are you going?
Me?
You better not be going to go have sex with your husband."
Absolutely not. I just so happened to have left my pussy left on.
You left your pussy on?
It's turned on. It's turned on, and I need to go turn it off.
Another woman escapes. "You, where do you think you're going?"
Oh, the store.
The store? Yeah.
Yes,
I guess that's a valuable excuse, actually.
Right.
We need things. We need snacks.
So I can go. Yes.
You can go. Wait.
Buddy.
Why? Okay. The pod dog. Pod dog. Where are you going?
She's lying. She's barking. She's so horny.
She's telling on me. Son of a bitch.
A third woman crosses the stage, and she pretends to be pregnant, and she says like, "Oh, I can't stay. I have to go have a baby." And granted, your excuses weren't the ones that are in the play, but just as valid. As other women start to filter out of the Acropolis, Lysistrata tells the women that they must be a united front, or everything will fail. She says, "Here, I have a message from the oracle. The oracle says women, when they don't work together, will suffer great shame and embarrassment." And all of the women are like,
That's a fortune cookie.
she got it from a fortune cookie. She cracks it open. Women who don't work together will suffer shame and embarrassment. Go back
Okay.
inside. And the women are somehow encouraged by these words, and they go inside.
Somehow, yeah.
As the women exit, the choruses reassemble. There's two choruses in this play, the old women that we heard from earlier, and then there's also a chorus of old men. The old men, I've seen pictures of them online when this play is performed. A lot of them have like exposed, like sewn floppy genitals that all flop around during this.
Okay.
And a fight ensues between an old man and an old woman who unsuccessfully swing at each other with fists and like yell sexual slander at each other.
Oh, I truly want to see this done live.
In the midst of this struggle, Lysistrata mounts a platform and looks over the horizon where she sees an approaching male. And it's Marini's husband, her husband, Canisius. When Canisius approaches, he has a visible throbbing
I
erection.
knew it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. How did you know it?
This is how I visioned him.
Yeah.
Just, I feel like all the men.
I knew he was just rock hard. He's just like, it's been a minute.
Yeah, and I think lines of this play are like, because they're like looking out the window from the Acropolis and they're looking down at him. And so they're sort of squinting, and it's like sassy best friend Marini and Lysistrata like, who is that? I can't tell. And then Marini's like, I'd recognize that erection anywhere.
Yeah.
And she just like, what's the? She's like the Samantha.
Yeah,
she's like,
that's a hard dick.
that's is that a direct line from Sex and the City?
Oh,
Seems like
probably.
He's
War makes you hard.
Canisius is followed by a slave who's carrying his baby boy, and Canisius is also in visible pain and
And they're all rock hard.
the baby is rock hard too.
Oh God.
No, and demands that Lysistrata bring out his wife Marini. Marini appears at the wall, and Canisius begs for her to come down. He's like, please, your son needs you. Fuck your son. I need you. Look at this. Do something about this.
You wouldn't want me to get blue balls, would you?
And then Marini says in response,
I don't. She's flustered and she doesn't know what to do. She really wants sex, right?
she totally wants sex, but she also mostly she pities her child. She's like, oh, I left my baby unattended at home. So Marini descends, and as that happens, Canisius soliloquizes about the beauty and the temper of his wife. When Marini enters, she takes the baby and refuses to let Canisius touch her. Canisius explains the problems at home. The weaving, it's come unraveled. The house has gone to hell. And as for me, I'm so horny.
It's been like 6 hours, right? This is a day.
I think it's like a day. Yeah. Marini refuses to have sex with him until there is a peace treaty. Canisius apparently wants to have sex with Marini immediately. And so Marini takes advantage of his neediness. Marini pretends that she is, oh, you want sex? Okay, sure. Just give me a minute. And she's like, let me go get a bed from the Acropolis. And she just like goes inside and then wheels back out of bed.
What is this party town?
She's like, oh, wait, we're going to need a pillow. She goes and gets a pillow. Oh, wait, we're going to need a blanket. Oh, wait, you stanky. We're going to need some perfume. And she goes and she brings that back.
What?
And then she's like, actually, and I'm going to need to put my son away. And so she takes her son and brings him back inside the Acropolis and then like sticks her head back out right as she's about to leave. And she's like, yeah, remember to vote for that truce. And then just truce and just slams the door and leaves him there in agony.
Why did she have to do the whole bed thing? She could have just said, let me put the kid away.
Yeah, she decided to toy with him. Remember, it's a comedy, guys.
Oh,
Is
yeah,
it?
yeah,
It's a
That's right.
comedy.
I don't know what it is.
A Spartan herald enters the stage and shrouds his own erect phallus with his cloak. The herald asks for the executive board and tells the men that he's brought some news. The commissioner enters the stage and asks whether the herald is like, hey, buddy, you carrying a concealed weapon there? Ho!
Just 8 inches of blue balls.
Looks about half of that to me.
I know.
It's fully loaded.
The commissioner throws open the cape of the herald and exposes the herald's dick.
It's cold.
The herald explains that things are very bad in Sparta and that the men are all quite desperate for their women. The commissioner goes to the herald, tells the herald to go to Sparta and request the commission to return with an armistice.
Is he still dressed as a woman?
Probably. Let's just go with
Is
yes.
he comfortable now?
He's
as a
discovered
woman?
his true self.
Okay.
Then the Spartan ambassadors appear. They also have erections. It just like it feels like
Okay, the second act has just it's flying off the handles.
Yeah, I feel like Aristophanes wrote this play. He was like, what if the play just ended with a whole bunch of erections?
This is near the end?
This is like act 2.
Okay. Wow.
But it's like 2 full acts of erections. The Athenian delegation, also with erections, enters from the left, led by Canisius. So there's just like dicks a go-go on stage. Then the gates of the Acropolis open, and Lysistrata emerges with her handmaid, and she's named her handmaid. Any ideas?
No.
No.
Clunge.
Not Clunge. It's Peace. She's named her handmaid Peace.
She's not great with the brainstorming.
No.
Hmm.
Peace is a beautiful girl and is completely naked. Peace remains out of sight at first when Lysistrata enters the scene, and she tells the men that they can come to agreement soon enough, and calls out her handmaid. She's like, and this is Peace.
I get it, because she's a hot piece of ass.
Yes, thank you. That wasn't the metaphor I was going for. Her, it's Peace with an A.
Yeah,
you see.
give me a piece.
Oh no. The men all stare at Peace, and everyone are like visibly more like, oh, from like a naked lady. Lysistrata directs the Athenians and the Spartans, placing them on either side. Lysistrata announces that she is a woman with wisdom and condemns the killing of Greek men and women. Again, another noble thing to say.
Cool. Yeah.
In a place surrounded by erections. As Lysistrata continues to speak, she speaks for quite a long time, and Canisius remarks like, "Oh, I'm gonna be destroyed if this takes any longer." Lysistrata continues and ignores Canisius's complaint, and she reminds the men that that like the Spartans and the Athenians are both of Greece. When one has historically helped the other, like we shouldn't be warring. She asks the Spartans, like, what would you guys do? Like, what would it take for you to end the war, Spartans?
Just letting me ejaculate is all I ask for.
Athenians?
Agreed. I need to stick my dick in something.
I don't even remember why we were fighting.
The Spartans replied that they would end the war if Sparta was given a strategic location. Pointing to the handmaid Peace's butt, he says,
Okay.
Like we'll take the area of Pylos. And
Wait, Sparta doesn't have a city yet?
Sparta has a city, but they want more strategic parts of Greece, regions.
Oh.
And so Peace is just standing there and becomes a living map of Greece.
Are they drawing on her?
No, they're just pointing at her, hopefully with just their fingers. And it becomes like there are a lot of puns in Greece, like the shape of the landmass, like the bottom like tendrils of Greece are called like the legs of Megara. So he's like, oh yeah, and if we can have the legs of Megara, and so they're just like this poor handmaiden is just standing there like this piece of meat. With some urging from Lysistrata, both parties agree to a truce. the men take off their cloaks, and they're like, great, a truce, and they like take off their clothes, and she's like, you gotta sign the paperwork first. Go sign the paperwork, and ushers them off. Lysistrata tells the men that they can take their women home, and the men, women, and chorus join together in a joyous song, and the play concludes with singing and dancing all around.
Oh, so it's not a bummer play.
No, it ends with them all enjoying.
Did anyone die?
No.
What?
It's a comedy.
This is a first.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what time was this written?
This was first produced in 411 BC.
I said what time?
What time?
I'm just kidding.
Early evening.
411 BC.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
I do have a picture that I
Wow.
wanted to show you because this play does get performed, of course, in modern times. And the picture that I found was of a, it seems like a performing arts high school or college in England performing it. And here is a young woman portraying Canisius, enjoying her.
Oh my God, what a dream.
Okay. We have to share that.
I mean, I don't want to
Somehow.
embarrass whoever this young
Can we
woman
blur
is.
her face out?
We should blur her face out.
That's-
But her face is great because she looks like she's enjoying it so much.
Well, I
Well,
mean,
that's
come
acting,
on,
baby.
man.
That's what we
Yeah.
all strive to do.
Yeah.
Commit.
This woman is holding a massive penis.
She's
No, we have to show them somehow.
Yeah, it's a massive inflated penis, and I believe it's like I was watching the clip, and it's like right before, like she just said, like, you disagreeable woman, you must do this, but it's like it's nice that they gender bent the casting, so it makes
Yeah.
it a little bit more enjoyable to watch.
That is great. I like when they do that because that was done to us for, I don't know, 2,000 years.
Yeah.
Isn't that mind blowing for you that like being a female and getting to act is like relatively less than 300 years?
Yeah, well, but it's not like it was like a hard line in the sand, like of like, and now you're able to do it. It was like sort of like back and forth of like when it was okay and when it wasn't okay.
It was illegal in England.
It was, but it went like back and forth. But it was, yeah.
It's nuts to me that
It's crazy.
we're both humans. I just like I can't understand it.
Yeah, but we're women humans. That's
Yeah,
different.
you're
You
right.
know.
Yeah, because you were looking at each other when you said we're both humans, but not at me. I'm not a human.
Well,
You don't know,
you're
you're
a
a
privileged
man.
white male,
You're a
so I
man.
feel like you
Yeah.
don't need to be talked about anymore.
We can't.
Yeah.
We're afraid to look you in the eye.
That's true. I've noticed.
Hey, how's your boner doing? How's your vagina doing?
Is it sad? Is it lonely?
Well, you don't need to put a P and a V for that because we've got stuff here at the masturbation market.
That's right. We've got all sizes and shapes, hardness, stiffness, anything you'd want.
Ness. Hey, over here we've got this is a bull built to have sex with a queen. We got it here discount.
Hey, you two, what are you doing? You're the Milesians. You're supposed to be revolting and not selling masturbation tools anymore.
Hey, supply and demand, baby,
We're here to bring peace.
of ass into you.
Hey.
I thought you were talking about that handmade piece. She's pretty cute.
She's not for sale. She's a human, but we got some tools.
That was a commercial.
Okay, so Paige, how did you grow? What did you learn? What do you think?
Well, I mean, it's interesting that a dude wrote this play
Mm-hmm.
and had obviously he put a lot of his wants and desires as far as what he thinks women should want.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But also the fact that he made some of these women strong.
Yeah.
The whole idea of the play seems kind of
See,
ludicrous in that time period.
I was waiting for the third act. I was positive this was going because you're saying it's kind of like people think of it as misogynistic. I was like, okay, so by the end they're gonna fall on their asses and the men are gonna clean it up and be like,
Right.
"You stupid women's," and then
Oh.
they
didn't.
they did it.
No, yeah, the
Yeah.
men buckled and they ended
men,
the war.
Yeah, they got. So that was very shocking for me. I was like, I know where this is going. I didn't. I was wrong. It's because I'm a woman.
You know?
You thought it would be a little bit of like Lucy Ricardo?
Well, yes.
you know,
And it would
women
be like
being
the
saved by
men pick
men.
it up and clean it up. A nice try, sweetheart, but come on, man. War's a man's game.
Yeah.
Think we care about your little pussy.
And there's no violence.
There was no violence except for
Fascinating.
the chamber pot and the brick and lamp
oh,
over.
yeah.
That
Okay,
was
that's
atrocious.
Yeah.
You're right.
just a comedic like cartoon violence.
Right.
Cartoon poop.
Cartoon poop. Yeah. It was the poop emojis
Yeah.
just fell on his head. Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks so much for being on here, boo 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 boop.
I learned.
How can people find you?
I am on iTunes and Stitcher and at Greetings from Depression, and then Instagram and Facebook at Greetings from Depression.
Oh shit. And y'all know how to find us. We are at _myth understood on Instagram and Twitter.
And you can find us individually at the
Well, you're me
Whoa,
today.
I
remember?
am you. Yeah, you can find us individually at the
Why?
I just can't say R's and L's today.
The celery.
The celery. Sarah Oliver.
And I am the Paul Bianchi.
Oh, and I'm at P. Fockler. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
It's me. I'm a human.
Hey, find her.
person.
Find her. Find her. Kill her. Don't kill her.
Oh.
Yeah, don't.
I'm trying to be Liam
Whoa, whoa,
Neeson.
yeah.
but-
This isn't taken. I didn't do anything.
And Cutie Pies, will you please go to Apple Podcast and give us a review? It helps us pop up when people are searching for mythology comedy podcasts. And if you review us, we will send you kisses.
Wow. Okay. Well, we are part of the Dragon Wagon Radio Network. You can follow at It's Dragon Wagon on all social medias. You can help us out by visiting the shop, where you can look at all of our swag. There is a brand new shirt design by
oh God, it's
a listener.
amazing.
She did adorable artwork of
Yeah.
Sarah and I writing a chimera, and it's on there on the shop. It's Nymphimos art.
And you can find that at dragonwagonshop.com.
And also you can show your support at dragonwagonradio.com/support.
Yo. So happy life, everyone. Bye-bye.
Happy life, happy wife.
That's true.
If you are enjoying this podcast and other podcasts on the Dragon Wagon Radio Network, be sure to check out the Dragon Wagon Shop. Awesome t-shirts and mugs from your favorite shows so you can tout your podcast pride, all while supporting your favorite indie podcast network. And make sure to check it often for new items and limited time designs. So shop now at dragonwagonshop.com and get your dragon swag on.
It's Dragon Wagon.